I walked into work and saw my face on the wall of shame. Right there in the break room, a blown-up photo of me with Employee of the Month, What Not to Do, written underneath in bold red letters. My manager Dave had apparently decided to make an example out of me after I'd called in sick 3 times last month. Never mind that I had actual doctor's notes for food poisoning. The photo showed me looking exhausted from when I'd dragged myself to work while still recovering. Under my picture were bullet points: excessive sick days, poor attendance, and unreliable work ethic. My coworkers were avoiding eye contact when I walked in. Some were snickering behind my back. Dave gathered everyone around and announced this was the new accountability system. He said employees needed to understand that there were consequences for not being team players. He looked directly at me while saying it, practically smirking. Sarah from accounting whispered to me later that Dave had been bragging about his creative management techniques to the other supervisors. He thought public humiliation was the key to motivation. What Dave didn't know was that I'd been documenting everything: his harassment, the illegal overtime demand, the way he'd been shorting everyone's paychecks by 15 minutes here and there. I'd been building a case for months. I also knew about his little side business. Dave had been using company equipment and time to run his own consulting firm. I'd seen him taking personal calls during work hours and using our printers for his client materials. The smoking gun was his laptop. Dave always left it open in his office, and I'd walked in multiple times to find him working on proposals for his personal client while on company time. But the thing that really sealed his fate was what I'd overheard last week. Dave was on the phone with his buddy bragging about how he was going to fire me and blame it on attendance issues so he could hire his nephew instead. He'd actually said, "I'll make his life so miserable he'll quit, or I'll find a way to fire him for cause. Either way, my nephew gets the job." I pulled out my phone and took a picture of my wall of shame photo. Then I opened my email and started typing. The message went to corporate HR, the labor board, and every major news outlet in our city. The subject line read, "Manager creates hostile work environment while running illegal side business." I attached photos of Dave using company equipment for personal business, screenshots of the altered timesheet system, and audio recordings of him admitting to planning fraudulent terminations. Everything documented and dated. Within 2 hours, corporate was calling the store. Dave's face went white when he saw the caller ID. By lunch, regional management was walking through our doors looking absolutely furious. Dave was in the office getting grilled while we all pretended to work. Through the glass walls, we could see him sweating and gesticulating wildly, trying to explain away the evidence. The best part? One of the local news stations picked up the story. They ran a segment about workplace harassment and used Dave's wall of shame as the perfect example of toxic management. The reporter interviewed several employees who came forward with their own stories about Dave's behavior. The story went viral on social media within hours. By the end of the day, Dave was packing his desk with a security guard watching. Corporate apologized to everyone and offered me Dave's position on the spot. I declined. I'd already accepted a better job at their competitor. They took down the wall of shame and implemented new policies about employee dignity. Dave's nephew never got hired, and Dave's consulting business died when word spread about his workplace ethics. 6 months later, I heard Dave was working at a gas station while fighting a lawsuit from his former consulting client. Turns out when you're exposed as a workplace bully, people start questioning your professional integrity. Sometimes the best revenge is just letting people show their true colors in public.